We start with breaking news here at 5 o'clock. 4 of the 6 crew members on a U.S. military refueling plane died as the plane crashed in Iraq. U.S. Central Command says the plane went down during a mission. They say the crash was not caused by hostile or friendly fire. Another aircraft involved in the mission did land safely. This is the 4th U.S. aircraft lost during the ongoing military campaign against Iran.
Let's take a live look to downtown Denver to start your morning. Aside from the wind, a beautiful 60-degree day is on tap.
Cleanup continues today after those strong winds blew across the Front Range. The wind tipped over semis, toppled trees, knocked down power lines, and the weather also caused some issues for fire crews who responded to a small fire north of Fort Collins. People there were told to evacuate, although no buildings were damaged and no one was hurt.
Xcel Energy is trying to bring back power to customers. Here is a look at the outages reported on their website. About 8,500 right now. Xcel says it could take a while for things to get back up and running, but crews are working around the clock to get things back to normal. Good morning. Happy Friday. I'm Corey Rose.
And I'm Drew Carney. Brianna standing by, ready to give us our first traffic report of the morning. But Katie, we want to start with the weather, of course. After yesterday, some more wind today and much more wind coming tomorrow.
Even windier than what we experienced yesterday. That's what we're expecting for Saturday. Okay. So it'll be days of warm, windy conditions. Hold on, it's going to pass, and then we'll talk about snow on Sunday. But another afternoon expected of high fire danger. The National Weather Service still has high wind warnings in place. We are not out of the woods just yet, bracing for more potentially damaging winds from the west-southwest over the next couple of days. So for today, we do still have a high wind warning in place until noon. Some of those wind-prone areas overnight, we've already seen extremely gusty conditions, and last recorded wind gust out over Loveland Pass, upwards of 40 miles per hour, and we're still seeing some extremely high gusts up near Red Feather Lakes and just off to the west of Denver. But it is a little calmer and warmer this morning. Temperatures, we're in the 40s and 50s right now from Boulder to Firestone down through Castle Rock and Colorado Springs. So stepping out the door, very mild, relatively calm, partly to mostly cloudy skies, and today will be a warm one. Daytime highs set to climb to the low, even mid 70s, and with the warm, windy weather, the National Weather Service again will have a red flag warning starting at 11 o'clock and lasting until 8 p.m. Low relative humidity. The winds will still be strong, around 25 to 40 miles per hour, but for tomorrow it will be again windier, upwards of 60 miles per hour. That's when we can get into the damaging territory, kind of like what we saw yesterday. And again this morning, it is still extremely breezy. Now I want to take it out to our meteorologist and my friend Jaden Knowles. He's in one of those wind-prone areas. Yesterday, we were watching Cold Creek Canyon. They closed 93 there. Extremely limited visibility with blowing dust. Jaden, how are things there this morning?
Well, good morning, Katie. I mean, as of right now, things look a lot different than what we saw yesterday. I mean, we are seeing the breezing conditions. We've only been out here for about 15 minutes, and occasionally you'll see a gust maybe closer to 20 miles per hour. But that's nothing compared to what we will see for this afternoon, like you just got done breaking down. Could see some gusts close to 70 miles per hour at times, especially near the foothills, and that's one of the main reasons for that high wind warning. That's going to go and continue till about noon this afternoon. But if you take a look at your screen there, you can see these strong winds are not just powerful, they're also increasing the risk of wildfire. So that's one of the main reasons why Katie just mentioned that the National Weather Service will start that red flag warning mainly at 11 a.m. this morning. That will go until 8 p.m. So all a red flag warning means the combination of strong winds, dry air, and dry vegetation could allow fires to start and spread quickly. And with gusts potentially reaching 70 to 75 miles per hour, anything from loose debris to tree branches could become hazardous. So that's one of the main reasons why officials are urging people to avoid outdoor burning, secure loose items like patio furniture, and use extra caution on the roads, especially if you're driving a high-profile vehicle. So the good news is that high wind warning will cancel or expire at noon, like Katie mentioned. But why are we seeing the gusty conditions? Well, that's because there's a high-pressure system just kind of off the Pacific coast, as well as a low-pressure system, that storm system that came through earlier in the week. So we're kind of in between those, and it's like a funnel, and that's the reason we are seeing those gusty conditions. But we're going to be tracking that this entire day, especially the morning hours. But live at Cold Creek Canyon, Jaden Knowles for 9 News. And Brianna, we did see Highway 93 close down yesterday. That is a possibility today, especially as we head into the weekend.
Yes, so many closures. Jaden, thank you so much for your reporting. We had Highway 93, I-25, and I-70 eastbound shut down yesterday. That is not the case, but like Jaden mentioned, it could happen again. Taking a live look right now of I-25 near 23rd Avenue, so right near Empower Field, where it is quiet this morning. Traffic very, very light. So I do want to switch things over to our main maps. You can see yesterday we were seeing purple shaded areas, which meant closures. We were seeing it all over the Denver metro area, the foothills, in the high country. country, and as well as northern Colorado. Right now, we have a lot of green on your screen. So getting to your drive times along Lakewood, if you're leaving the Lakewood area, so Wadsworth, Sheridan, Federal into I-25, you're only looking at a 7-minute drive. Southbound I-25 from 144th down to 76, only about 8 minutes. We did have some construction happening just before you hit E-470 in that area. That is no longer the case. Traffic is moving through that area.
Thank you very much, Brianna. Wind, of course, impacted operations at the airport yesterday. So this is what it looked like with the planes just parked there on the taxiway. The FAA issued a ground delay for several flights trying to get to Denver. And according to FlightAware, there were more than 800 flight delays yesterday. So far today, not nearly as bad. There are, though, 34 delays at this point and 7 canceled flights.
Now, in the meantime, students at 4 Boulder Valley schools are headed back to the classroom. They knew they weren't going to school yesterday, even before the wind started blowing. Preemptive closures of Netherland Elementary, Netherland Middle Senior High, Gold Hill Elementary, and Jamestown Elementary. It is the 3rd time since December that BVSD has had wind-related closures. District leaders told us they can't remember the last year before this one that they had any.
Looking back at our records, we've had flooding before that's caused closure, certainly cold weather, snowstorms, that kind of thing, but nothing of this sort.
BVSD says that while there were power outages at schools in the district, there were no reports of damage at any of the buildings.
A 55-year-old skier died at Breckenridge earlier this week. The ski resort says ski patrol responded to the Lake Chutes area on Peak 8. That's a double black diamond run. The skier was taken to the first aid room, and that's where he later died. No other details have been shared so far.
A threat at Adams City High School earlier this week didn't just terrify students, staff, and families. It also tied up valuable resources. Commerce City police arrested 2 teenagers who they accuse of calling in a fake bomb and active shooter threat Wednesday. The threat even included a fake trail of blood inside the school. More than 200 officers from agencies around the Denver metro area helped clear the campus. Commerce City police say there were about 24 other calls that came in while they were at the school.
Response time is certainly going to be slowed when we have all of our resources poured into one location and one call.
Police say the 2 students they arrested were covered in fake blood. They now face felony charges.
Democrats here in Colorado are questioning the use of temporary holding facilities by ICE. A recent report from the Colorado Times Recorder showed people held for weeks in the agency's sub-offices here in the state. Documents obtained by the newspaper say ICE's policy is to not hold people for more than 72 hours at these sites.
One of the most concerning things we found was that there is this culture seemingly around these facilities of complete disregard for ICE's own internal rules.
Colorado's Democratic congressional delegation has noticed the reports and are demanding more transparency from ICE. ICE responded by saying the locations are not secret holding rooms. ICE called them part of their field offices.
The conflict in the Middle East is forcing one Colorado couple to wait far from the home they just built overseas. Mark and Carrie Tedder moved from Colorado Springs to Jerusalem earlier this year to share their music ministry in schools and with wounded soldiers. But during a short trip to Italy, the conflict escalated and airspace shut down, leaving them unable to get to Israel. The couple flew back to Colorado to wait out the war, leaving their apartment, clothes, and instruments behind. They believe once they return, they will be needed more than ever before.
A lot of these children are sleeping with their moms and dads, and they're 14, 15, 16 because they're afraid. There's just so much fear there. And children should never have to experience that kind of pain and trauma. And so I think returning, our job will be even more critical.
Tedder did want to add that his prayers are with those military members injured and killed during the attacks. He hopes to return to Israel by the end of the month. NBC News has learned Defense Department officials told senators in a closed-door briefing Tuesday they estimate the first 6 days of the war in Iran cost more than $11.3 billion. This is the 13th day of the war, so that figure is much higher now. The toll on our military is also growing. 7 U.S. service members have been killed and 140 are hurt.